Hey everybody, this is Pentahybrid, and on today's episode of Listitis, we're going to be counting down my top 10 favorite Sonic bosses. These are not restricted to the 2D, 3D era, so don't worry. These are just top 10 Sonic bosses all time. There are a lot of 2D bosses on the list because that's my favorite era, so just get ready for this, and if you don't like the list, then you can enjoy these cakes. Thank God that's over with, right? Alright, now on to the list. Number 10. Submarine Eggman 2 from Sonic 2's Oil Ocean. The Submarine Eggman fight was one of the best designed bosses in the first couple of games. His method of attack made it not only a challenge, but fun to do. You would have to hit him a few times, 4 if you were very lucky, before he sank down into the oil. Then he would send up a robotic tentacle. No, not that kind. That would either have a claw or gun attached to its end. The claw would lunge at you, but it was easy to dodge. The gun is the one you had to worry about. It had 2 attacks. It could either shoot a laser at you, which you might manage to either jump over or stand still and avoid it, altogether. But its second attack was the pain. It shot your platform and temporarily lit it on fire, usually forcing you to leap over the tentacle and onto the other platform. P.S. Watching Tails die and come back the whole fight made it comical. Number 9. The Jet Mobile from Sonic & Knuckles Mushroom Hill. I remember this fight all too well. It was no Turbo Tunnel or TMNT water level, but I swear, when you are 5 to 8 years old trying to complete a chase and dodge level, you sometimes get hit. That was the Jet Mobile for me. It was an extremely clever boss design for that time. Understandably, it took influence from a certain boss fight in the original Sonic 1, but made it horizontal instead. Both challenging and fun, both big factors in making this list, the boss fight was a good one for being the first fight in the game. Number 8. The Final Hazard from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Sonic Adventure 2 Battle had some of the blandest fights in my opinion, but this one was one of the few that really stood out. Yes, I played the game for more than just the Chow Guard. Kind of. In this fight you played as both Super Sonic, Badass, and Super Shadow. Meh. The goal obviously was to kill the Super Biolizard dude, except this time there was more than a few obstacles. He had one weak spot that was oftentimes protected by little orb things from the first encounter. Same as before, he could shoot them out at you, forcing you to maneuver around his weak spot. To his weak spot. The main thing that aggravated me along with other players was his massive laser attacks. They were piercing and had hectic random movement, making it difficult to get around. The final stage of his attacks was almost bordering on unfair, but was just enough to stay in the area of challenging. He had a field of the tracking orbs along with 2 of those lasers from before. It was a challenge worthy of being called the final boss. Number 7. Egg Golem from Sonic & Knuckles Sandopolis. This boss wasn't so difficult, especially if you hit him during the right frames and were able to get him to freeze in place, allowing you to hit him easier. So then what gets him on the list? Design and the level he was in, obviously. Sandopolis was the coolest level in Sonic & Knuckles. That music, the puzzles, and the spooky factor all added on to why I loved this boss. His appearance in Sonic Adventure 2 was great as well, but the original rarely is inferior in life. Number 6. Catcher Eggman from Sonic 2's Casino Night. Ah, the Catcher Eggman. What a great early boss fight. Its difficulty depends on the player, like most boss fights. You can beat him easily by just spin dashing around the walls and into him, or you can get your ass handed to you by trying to play pinball. I prefer the latter, because it's way more fun to play games the way they were designed than it is to play unfairly. Unless it's a speedrun, of course. Number 5. The Tonkachi Eggman from Sonic 2's Aquatic Ruin. Also known as the Hammer Eggman, this fight is one of the most memorable for Sonic fans. It would fall right in the middle of the difficulty scale, because timing your jumps is a skill any Sonic player has to master, and this fight was one of the first that you repeated over and over again, pulling lives from your empty pockets if you did not have that skill down. The design was another factor, for it was just a beautiful fight all around. Yes, I said beautiful. Number 4. Biolizard from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. You knew this was coming. If the final hazard was on here, then the Biolizard had to be, right? But then why is this fight above the former? Style, fun, and design are all far superior with this fight. I mean, the orbs are actually a mechanic instead of an obstacle. And he chases you both clockwise and counterclockwise. Yes, you play as Shadow during this part, which I'm not a fan of, but Shadow sections aren't all that bad because next to Knuckles, he has the best level music. The goal is to hit his back, and every time you do, the ability to do so gets more complicated. From the first phase, where you have to run around the small arena grabbing rings until an opportunity presents itself. You then grind up a hose on his head to hit his weak spot. The second phase, he moves faster and turns faster, along with new attacks. The third phase, you have to navigate up his back via the jump attack to the now spawned orbs above him. Great fight, even if you are playing as Shadow. Number 3. Death Egg Robot from Sonic 2 Final Boss. The Death Egg Robot is one of the most notoriously difficult Sonic bosses. His hitbox is so small that if you mess up the slightest of timing, you will pay for it with your rings. And him moving towards you constantly makes it a challenge to collect the few to stay alive. His attack patterns aren't that hard to master, but his hitbox and the fact that there isn't a checkpoint between him and Mecha Sonic will give any gamer a hard time. Number 2. The Labyrinth Zone boss from Sonic 1's Labyrinth Zone. Easily one of the most difficult bosses in Sonic history. One of the very few where the goal isn't to fight. You are tasked with following Robotnik up a trap-laden platforming section. Oh yeah, and the water's following you from below. You can hit him on your way up to lower his health for when you reach the top, but most gamers are concentrated more on dodging the cleverly placed projectiles and arrow traps. Ugh, I'm getting Spelunky flashbacks right now. And number 1, Mecha Sonic from Sonic 2's Death Egg Zone. Mecha Sonic, not Metal Sonic. People tend to forget that, but this isn't the time nor place for backstory on the difference between the two. This fight comes right before the Death Egg Robot, and that is really the only challenge in it, is knowing that you won't have a safe stop between the two. And that is the big reason why Mecha Sonic tops this list. Silly? Maybe. Disagree? Oh well, go make your own damn list then. Nah, I'm just kidding. Of course I care what you think. If you think the list should have been different, be sure to let me know what you think in the comments below. I'd like to thank anyone who's been watching my videos for coming by and checking it out. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and if you'd like to see more from me, make it easier on yourself and click that fancy subscribe button. Or whatever you choose to do. Be your own person. That's the best advice anyone can give. See you next time on Listitis. Catch you later. This is Pentahybrid.